Hey guys, as promised, I am back and I am going to be talking about my upcoming vertical sleeve surgery. Now, the reason why I'm so excited, it's a bittersweet moment for me because I did not expect for me to actually get this surgery. I had other plans. Everything that I've done, nothing has helped me with my disorder. Between the doctors and me, we all decided, you know what? I think this surgery will help you in the long term. But anyways, guys, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget, the most important is to click on that notification bell so you can get all the alerts of all my videos that I will be posting, because I will be posting more. But anyways, I'm going to be looking at my laptop because I am kind of going to go through like the timeline with the appointments that I've had and such. So give or take some time in February, I want to say. I think it was like the end of February. I actually had my lap band removal. The lap band, it's a laparoscopic band. It's pretty much a band that's put on your stomach, makes a smaller pouch, and then you got your bigger pouch, right? And so you get it filled. So I had the port right here, and that would, you know, they would insert saline, remove saline as needed. However, it was a failed lap band. It was causing me some issues. It actually slipped. And I actually have a video on this. So if you're interested in knowing a little bit more of my journey with that, I will post at the end of this video. But anyways, let's get to it. So after my visit, after my surgery, they set me up with the Health and Wellness Center, and I first went into the, with the initial appointment, I went in to get weighed and they checked my body composition, and yes, they determined that most of my weight I carry in my stomach. Unfortunately, you can see it like on the screen where most of the fat is. Now it's not like, I know there's good fat and there's bad fat. This is the bad fat. This is the one that kind of like just is over your organ. Legs were fine. Arms were okay. And since then, like when I first started with them, I was about 197 pounds. So I had actually dropped some weight after they removed the band because I was so motivated that I was gonna make this happen. I was gonna lose the weight on my own. I had no restrictions. And I mean, the thing is, like, I didn't have any restrictions with the lap band, unfortunately, because it was opened up so much that it was like not having it at all. So when I went back in a few months in, I said, you know what, like, can you tighten it to see if it makes me feel better? Unfortunately, because it was tightened, it actually slipped. So instead of the band being straight like this, it was tilted in my stomach, which was causing me a lot of issues. Now, after I saw the doctor, actually, not the doctor, I saw the nurse practitioner. And she had told me she was going to remove the saline. This was like right before the surgery or whatever. And I was like, great. And, of course, like there was a little bit of an issue because it wasn't an usual placement where I had it, which I'll show you. So the band was actually like right here, and you can still feel some of the scar tissue, but it is what it is. That scar that you see there, that's where they removed the port, but I also have other smaller, very small around my stomach, which they said that once I get my tummy tuck, you won't see it, which is a good thing because I'm gonna need it eventually. So anyways, after my visit, I saw a nutritionist. The nutritionist was able to kind of like give me some ideas, which, you know what, like I already know. I was a wellness coach before, and I can honestly tell you that I knew what I had to do. I knew where were going to be the challenges. However, because this new, it's almost like a feeling that I had, I was consuming large amounts of food. I was pretty much eating 3 slices of pizza and soda and things like that because I knew that I could. Prior to the removal of the band, I was actually binge eating chips and chocolate at night, and I would pretty much leave the wrapper kind of like tucked in between the bed. And it was bad. Like, it was a really bad habit that I had formed. So part of the routine, part of the help that I received through this health and wellness center was to stop those behaviors. So I would literally be more mindful of what I was consuming. And it was fine. Everything was great. I was, listening to my ebooks, reading. There's an app, I think it's called Mindfulness, which was helpful. But sometimes, because, it is kind of like, it kind of takes you through like step by step. And it's kind of like, I got bored of it. So I stopped it after like 2 to 3 months. Which you shouldn't do that. You should continue the process, because by the 6th month, you should completely eliminate the binge eating problem that you have, because that's exactly what they had diagnosed me with, was binge eating disorder. So we're trying to figure out a way around it. So every month or so, I would see the doctor. We will talk about my feelings. I would talk about medication. So I was on 2 different medications during the past 8 months. Let me see if I can find them. All right, so the medication that they had me on was called topiramate. And I know that medication was supposed to help me with my dopamine levels. Because I don't quite remember. The one that was most effective for me is the Vyvanse, and currently I'm on Vyvanse 30 milligrams. I don't take it consistently, only when I know that I'm going to have an episode of binge eating. It actually keeps my mind busy. I actually have gotten my binge eating under control, which is a good thing, because prior to surgery, you do need to get that under control. But anyways, the Vyvanse is what I'm currently on right now, and it's 30 milligrams, and I take it once a day. It's actually used to treat ADHD as well, or ADD, which, it's funny thing is, I have ADD, I'm ADHD, so it does help me. The only thing is that I do notice is when I'm on it, I'm irritable. And I'm so like, any little thing bothers me. So that's another reason why I don't take it as much as I supposed to. But anyways, I've been on it since I think June, and since April I've gained 20 pounds. Now, like I said, I have not been on the medication consistently because of the side effects. Does Vyvanse work? Yes, it can work if you use it correctly. I have side effects. I don't use it every day, and that was one of the issues that I was having. Now, like I mentioned, I was having I would go to my visits every other month. I would see either the nutritionist, and then I would see the doctor, the nutritionist, and then the doctor. And they would give me kind of like ideas of what to do. They even sent me like a meal plan, which was all great things that I already knew. Of course, being a former wellness coach, I knew this stuff. However, I did not implement it. And the issue is that I'm currently having is I'm always hungry. And it's like, I don't know where it's coming from. Like, all of a sudden, for the past like 2 months, I've had this urge to consume everything. No matter how much protein I literally eat or consume, like, I'm always hungry. But anyways, after all these attempts, these past 8 months, I want to say 8 months, February, 11, yeah, about 8, 9 months or so, they said, you know what, Jocelyn, I think it's best if you consider this. If you like, we can touch base at a different time. I said, no, absolutely not. Sign me up. This is something that the doctors had recommended prior to me removing the band. They said, we'll get you into surgery, we'll do the sleeve. You can just like do one shot and you don't have to worry about it again. And I said, no, I really want to leave my stomach intact. But because of hereditary disorders, I really had to do this. Like, my grandmother died of complications of diabetes. My father's mom, she was morbid obese. My grandmother at one point, my mom's mom, was also obese at one point, but she was also type 2 diabetic. My dad was type 2 diabetic. He actually got better after doing the gastric sleeve. I'm sorry, the gastric bypass. My sister also got the gastric bypass. She was morbid obese. She lost the weight. And I had the lap band. Now, I chose the lap band because I wanted it. I wanted something that was reversible. The gastric sleeve and the gastric bypass is not reversible. That's the only issue that I have, and I continue having it. I'm like fighting my brain about this, but it's what's best for me. I suffer from chronic joint pain. So when I say joint pain, like every part of my body hurts, like all my joints, my back, my legs. Right now, my elbows are hurting me. I mean, it's really difficult. I have to live with this for the rest of my life. Also, suspicion of lupus, which when they do run the test, I was positive ANA like years and years ago. So this was about, Jade is going to be 10. So about, yeah, almost 10 years ago or so, they had a positive ANA, and then they redid it again. It was positive, and then with the symptoms on and on. So that's why they had put suspicious of lupus. At one point, they had diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, which I know for sure that's not it. From what I was told, that particular doctor that I used to go to diagnose everyone with fibromyalgia. So that was kind of like out of the question. The other thing that they had diagnosed me with was Raynaud's disease. So the extremities, so your extremities, like the ears, your tip of your nose, your fingers, your toes, they get frostbite very easily. Now, here's the thing. Since I've been consuming more iron, I think the issue that I had, and which is really bizarre, since my iron levels are much higher, I don't experience that at all. I do get some of the tingling like in my feet, but I think it's something else. It's definitely not Raynaud's disease, because if that was the case, I would have had frostbite a long time ago. And yeah, so I disregarded that, and I told the doctors, I'm like, you guys should really take this off my record, because I do not have Raynaud's disease. This is something that they had diagnosed me with, and half of these things they diagnosed me with was totally like not even relevant to what the symptoms that I was having, I feel. Now, my chronic joint pain, it's a combination of things. It's a combination of dehydration, lack of exercise, weight gain. So I'm carrying a lot of the weight, and a lot of the weight is usually in my stomach, and it's causing the arch in my back to go more arched. So it's causing me a lot of back pain, a lot of the knee pains, ankle, especially my left side, because I had injured that at one point. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the problem that I'm having, and that's the reason why I need to get this surgery, because it's not easy for me just to get up and go. You know, some people have different symptoms, and it's something that they can kind of like deal with on a day-to-day, but I have ups, I have lows, I get flare-ups, and so for me to get to that comfortable place where I can start exercising again and not have any pains, I need to get the surgery. I mean, like just today, I was cleaning my house and I was in so much pain. I had to stop and then go, stop and then go. So there's no way I'll be able to do a job where I'm standing up, you know? So like I medicate with like ibuprofen and Tylenol as needed, because to be honest, I do not like medication. Like I told you before, I'm that type of person that I'd rather not take something and then like deal with it on my own. I guess my fear stems from my mom having kidney failure. I don't want to get to that point where my liver's damaged or something happens because of the effects of medication. Like there was one medication they had me on for the suspicion of lupus, hydrochloroquine. It's a 1% chance that your retina may detach and cause you to be blind. So I decided that I was not going to take that anymore. And I discarded all the medication and decided, you know what, I'm going to deal with this on my own. They also mentioned that my condition can actually progress and I can actually get worse, but that has not been the case. I've been kind of stagnant. So it's a good thing, and it's been since 2019. So it's fair to say that I'm in a good place right now, except the obesity. I mean, you can't really tell, but I am I am in a uncomfortable weight for my height. And now that I'm getting older, I feel like I'm going through those premenopausal symptoms, and night sweats, and I need to be completely naked when I'm sleeping. Well, not completely, but you know what I mean. I'm irritable. I can be forgetful. I'm growing a little bit of facial hair. You can't really tell because my hairs are blonde, but I mean, it was just so many different symptoms that I'm experiencing now that I'm like, wait, what? I'm 40, what? I said, what's best for me is actually to get it done, and that's it. Be done with it. Now, just to show you what the gastric sleeve is, let me look it up. So I'm going to be reading what I have here. The gastric sleeve offers you a safe and effective way to lose the weight. Surgeons advanced training in minimal invasive gastric sleeve with less pain and faster recovery rates of success. The most common bariatric surgery now. It's also called the sleeve gastrectomy. The surgeon removes 80% of your stomach, leaving a small pouch the size of a banana, like I mentioned before. So here you will see what it looks like. So this is the part that they remove, and this is the part that they keep. So it's like a banana, the size of a banana. So instead of you consuming all that food and filling all this up, because there's more to it than what I'm saying. There's a reason why they do this. What it means is the smaller the pouch, the less amount of calories you're actually consuming. Your appetite declines because of the changes in hunger signals to your brain, which, obviously. The advantages is it can improve your quality of life, especially if you have obesity related conditions such as like type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, osteoarthritis. It usually has less side effects than the gastric bypass, like I mentioned. It does not require any foreign objects in your body like what I had with the lap band. Patients who actually get the bariatric surgery, including the gastric sleeve, have a higher life expectancy, better health, and higher quality of life, similar to people who don't. It is generally safe to use anti-inflammatory NSAIDs, which actually with the gastric band, I was not able to take any NSAIDs. There is some risks and potential side effects, which can include bleeding, infection, hernias, heartburn, narrowing of the sleeve because of the scarring, leaking from staple line, new or worse acid reflux, dumping syndrome, so on and so forth. The surgery is not reversible, and that is one of the reasons why I had to really think this through. The goal is to get to a more comfortable weight. to allow me to get back to my activities of daily living. Great. So as I was looking through this, my brother just texted me that someone that knows someone got the gastric bypass and was having some complications. And I'm like, this is like totally weird because of what I am actually looking at right now. The gastric bypass is not something that I would ever have done, ever would have recommended. It is something that I think a lot of doctors are now slowly, I mean, they're still doing the surgery, but I think they recommend more of the sleeve, you know, for clear reasons. I do anticipate on getting the surgery sometime in January. It is something that I know that I have to get done before my new journey in life. As many of you guys know, I did post a video on I quit, which means that I quit my career in banking for personal reasons. I feel like that wasn't the area that I was meant to be in. So I'm in the process of I was in the process of reevaluating my life and I actually found something that really resonated with me, and it's something that I actually studied to do this. But I can't spoil it. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. But just to let you know, I am planning on getting into surgery again sometime early next year. It's only a few more months. I do have to take classes. So I do have to take like nutrition classes, which I have. I also have to do group classes right through like Zoom, like a meeting with other fellow candidates that are going through the same process as I am. Also guest speakers and things like that. So what they do recommend is for you to do it at least 1 to 2 a month until the day of surgery, and continue these classes after that. But they are a requirement for you to do at least some of them prior to surgery, just to get yourself prepared for that. Now, my next step is actually going to be to see the actual surgeon again and to kind of go over the ins and outs of the procedure, which I'm comfortable with because I've known so many great success with this. So I am hopeful that everything's going to come out the way it should. I will continue to update you guys as I progress towards this surgery. I'm like super excited, kind of like just go through the whole process with you guys, my transition, and also the pros and cons of getting the surgery. I want to be transparent. I want to show you guys what's working for me, what's not working for me. And this is going to be so exciting. So anyways, don't forget, like I mentioned, that notification bell, because I will be posting more videos about my journey towards the vertical sleeve. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. As you can see, it is so late and it's time for me to take off this makeup, put my hair up in a bun, throw on my pajamas, and just relax and watch some TV. Anyways, guys, you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.